Hey guys, it's Sherry, and in this tutorial we're going to be creating such a beautiful and very shiny agate slice slash geode, and I'm saying that because everyone calls it a geode, but if you actually look up the difference, technically it's an agate slice. But let's get started into this tutorial. I've got 7 colours that I'm going to be using today for this agate slice. The first one is from Archery Creation, and it's a tealy kind of colour. I think it's called Arctic Escape. Then I'm going to be using turquoise from Artie Sue, Passion White Cell, so I'm using a mixture of pigment paste and also pigment powders. They're pretty much the same. They do work slightly different. Generally your pigment pastes are opaque colours and your pigment powders are generally like shimmery mechas, or mechas, however you want to say it. And then I've got Violet Pearl from Artie Sue. Now with this agate slice, you can really use whatever colours you want to use. It's honestly personal preference. I'm using quite a lot. Normally I kind of keep my colour palette quite simple, but I feel like with these, because they are meant to reflect crystals, that you can go a bit crazy with your colours, and you can also use a lot of shimmers and glitters in that, because that helps bring out the shine that this like agate slice would have. So this is a duochrome red blue, and this is by Pearl. Then this is Violet, and this is another pigment powder from Artie Sue. And then the last colour that I'm going to be using today is from Barnes, and it's silver, and I think it's called Aluminium. So I've just got my mirror chip mixture. So this has got the large mirror chips and then those sort of glass silver chips. And I've just added a little bit of resin to kind of create that into a little bit of a paste. So I'm just adding this mixture all around the inner edge of my agate slice shape. I cut these boards out myself with just some MDF. So if anyone's going to ask where I got these boards from, I do make them myself. They're just out of MDF. But you can, I have seen them like on Amazon, and some other resin suppliers are now starting to sell boards cut in that sort of geode slash agate slice shape. So I'm not trying to do this neatly because it is meant to like resemble a crystal. So I'm just slowly building up my crushed glass slash mirror chip mixture on the inner edge to just represent that sort of agate shape, when they always have that sort of beautiful textured crystal on the center of them. I'm going to start at my center and then slowly work my way out, and I'm going to keep repeating my pattern. But I just love like the look when you use sort of texture when you are creating these agate slice resin artworks, is like, you know, using crystals, using mirror chips. Gold leaf is always really beautiful, but creating that texture I feel like just looks so gorgeous when you do artworks like this. So I'm going to do a bit of a different technique. So I've just poured down my clear resin kind of like in the middle, and now I'm going to pour down some of my colours going outwards, and this is going to create a really cool pattern. So I'm going to start off with my silver. And now I'm going to grab my scraper, and I'm going to gently on an angle, pull it out into the clear resin. I'm also trying to follow that shape. So as you can see, it's kind of a bit triangle-y. So I'm making sure I pull it out more there and on these 2 points as well. So that way it's still keeping that like shape to it. Gotta be super careful too, like not to overdo this, because I feel like I've just overdid it a little bit down at that bottom, but I might just get some more of that white and go back over the top. We're starting to get some really beautiful shapes of that now, and a few baby cells popping up through. And then I'm just going to keep doing some rings and creating some really cool patterns. I think I might also stick some more crystals up in these like sort of clearer bits, and that way I can get some really defined shapes. So it's the next day and I'm really loving how this is looking so far. I really love how it's kept that really beautiful blending and that line just going the whole way around. It really kind of gives that great effect to the agate slice, and all of these like little mirror chips are just so stunning. I do really like this, but I feel like I've kind of overworked it a bit too much, which can be a problem of mine, and I think a lot of artists out there, it's really hard to find that perfect point to stop. But it's okay because I've already was going to do a second layer anyway. So we're going to do like a dirty pour up through here using most of the colors except for the two turquoise colors, just because we've already got a lot of turquoise going on through here. So we're going to put that dirty pour just going around here just to create that extra like layer and dimension to this. And then once that sets, we're going to then just do a top coat to this, just so that way like all of your little chips and your crystals then get really locked in. Because right now these can be still a little bit loose because the bottom of them are in the resin, but you've still got these bits sticking out, so we still need to do a top coat with that. So let's go and do the dirty pour and then the top coat. I've let my resin sit for a little bit just so it's a bit thicker and not so thin, and then I'm just going to be pouring the colors into a clean cup. How pretty is that? So I'm going to just pour it around following this shape, and I'm not going to do too much to it. You don't want to mix this because obviously you're going to mix your colors in. And you can see like the really pretty ribbons coming through, and that really pretty swirl. And I'm not going to do anything to this. I'm going to let it sit. It's going to expand a bit, so it will probably expand out to there, so don't pour too much too wide, because resin self levels, it will expand that little bit further. But it looks so gorgeous with those ribbons coming up through. And then once this is kind of gelled and set, then we're just going to do the top coat. I did decide to go back in once my dirty pour had set and did a few more bands of colour, so that way it matched what was kind of happening on the outer edge and kind of brought that more in towards the centre. Okay guys, so now it's time to do the top coat. This is the point where if you wanted to add your crystals into the center, like the actual real quartz or whatever kind of crystals you like, now's the time. I recommend placing them in with hot glue, and then when you pour your top coat on, that's going to act as like a second layer of glue that will help adhere them into the center, because hot glue necessarily isn't always the best glue to use for something that you want to have last forever. So I'm just going to do my top coat now. How great does this look? I am so happy with it. It is so pretty. I love all the layers and all the detail, and like when you go up close you keep seeing like new and interesting things. I'm super happy with this. The last step that I've got to do is to just go around the edges, and I'm going to cover that with silver, just so that way I've got a really nice finish to all of my edges. And as I said before, if you wanted to, you could also add like crystals in on the inside, but I'm super happy with this. Okay, so I've learnt this new tip and I haven't tried it yet, but when you want to do like sort of silver lining, I saw another artist do this, is use some silver alcohol ink and then some of your silver pigment and a little bit of alcohol, and it makes a really good like silver gilding. So we'll give it a go and test out this new method, because I'm always looking for easier and better ways to do things. I did really like this technique, and I found it adhered pretty well to the resin. You do have to do 2 coats just because the resin's so slick that paint generally has trouble like adhering to it. And then I decided to also add some more detail into the top of my agate slice by doing a few rings of that silver. So this is the finished piece, and I just added some like silver around, just to add a little bit more detail and to create a bit more of that agate slice effect. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a big thumbs up, as it really does help me out and it lets YouTube know to show this video to more people. If you're new to my channel, please do subscribe, as I post new videos every week to do with art, craft and DIY, and I do specialize in resin. And yeah, hit the notification bell as well, so that way you get notified every single time I post a new video. I'd really love your thoughts below in the comment section. Would you make this? What colors would you use? I feel like this is like kind of going out a little bit out of my comfort zone and using really sort of bold colors. I generally stick to like, you know, the more muted tones, like your soft pinks and stuff like that. So I had a lot of fun creating this, and I think it's really pretty, but I'm interested to hear your comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching.